Hello everyone. Today I'm looking at my collection of dragons, knights, and daggers from Imperial Toys from 1983. This was a set that, and it's not the complete set, but it was basically a knockoff to cash in on the craze of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe at the time. Most of the other companies who were trying to cash in on it, of course, Remco, Sun Gold, Olmec, those kind of companies, they were more interested in actually reproducing the action figures, whereas Imperial Toys were more focused on enhancing the play, I guess you want to call it, by providing beasts and weaponry to help round out your play sets and whatever. Imperial Toys is in the 80s, you could pretty much find tons of their stuff in every toy store, every Toys R Us. They were the guys who made the rubber dinosaurs, the things like this guy. You see that they have a little crown on them, and it says Imperial. They also made the infamous Godzilla figures in the 80s, the posable ones that barely look like Godzilla. And there was one about the size of these guys, a little bit, I want to say around 6 inches or so, and then a big one about 12, 13 inches. They also did a King Kong who looked nothing like any King Kong in any of the movies. But this particular set, it was Dragons, Knights, and Daggers. And basically what you would get would be a beast. And some of them came with a weapon set, some of them came with chariots. And they were ones that you could put in there instead if you didn't have a Battle Cat, if you didn't have Stridor or whatever for He-Man. And they were designed kind of to work with those figures. Like, for instance, I've got a He-Man figure right here. And basically you can see, and we're going to get to this point. There's some design flaws in these. Basically, they are at the height where you can give him a chariot to ride. Yay! Hooray, He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, in a chariot, Ben-Hur, whatever. And you could also make them, ride them if you wanted. I wanted to say some of them came with saddles. I thought I had a saddle, but I can't seem to find it. And I could be completely mistaken on that. I think I may have just put one of my old Panther saddles on one of them. But, they're designed to ride them. And you can see where, they ride them okay. These things, this one is the saber-tooth serpent. Now, this one right here, I bought this when I was a kid, probably 1985-ish maybe, in a little grocery store right outside of Houston. And I've had them ever since. These things are real sturdy rubber. They are real hard rubber. They're not, you can kind of squeeze them, but they're not going to go real far. They're pretty durable. And Imperial had a way of, some of their stuff would be really rubbery, some of it would be really thick and durable, and these are really nice. This guy here is the two-headed dragon, and as you can see, they don't really have any posability to them. They're just one piece, one molded piece, and they've got great sculpting for what they are. They were cheap little things you could pick up in bargain bin stores just to kind of placate your kids who wanted He-Man, but you couldn't afford Castle Grayskull or Eternity or something. And they also came out with weapons. They had weapons available as weapon packs, and some of them came with the figures themselves. Very cheap weapons. They're this is just cheap plastic. I would not even try. You can already see that one's broken. But like, you've got a He-Man shield. I'll go ahead and do this one since it is broken. Or maybe not. But anyway, cheap plastic. Some of the other weapons are a little bit cooler. That, I don't know. That kind of looks like Black Star sword, don't you think? I don't know. It's a little different. Came with a little laser gun. it's an okay gun. A little weird sword or dagger, whatever you want to call it. This is cool. This is a total rip-off of Tila. This is a serpent staff. They got another little dagger sword thingy, lance, I guess you want to call it. Mine's a little bent. Whatever the heck this is. I don't even know how that would, the physics on that would be weird, trying to hit people with it. Got another little sword here. I'm going to put He-Man down. Got another little sword here. I mean, they're cheap. You know, they're mace. Let's see, we got a little battle axe here. Got this little thing. And they're all made, and we've got a helmet too. And the helmets were, you know, you can see. You can see how cheaply these things are made. You know, they weren't designed for long lasting. How mine have stood up all these years, I don't know. But you could, you know, get your guys, I mean, boom, there. You got your new He-Man right there. Blockbuster. Frank Langella will fight that for you. And I don't know. There's something about these guys I just love more. I've kind of fallen out of my love of the Masters of the Universe, but I love the knockoffs. And these guys are just the best thing about the knockoffs to me. This guy over here, this guy is the Rhino Avenger. I mean, look at the sculpting. I mean, it's just got great sculpting. The paint, But these guys I felt were better than some of the early Masters of the Universe beasts. I had 3 Battle Cats as a kid. I had 2 Panthers, and I had, what's the, not Strider, but the other one, the Night Stalker. I don't have any of those left. They all broke. These guys are still standing. The weapons, the cheap little weapons. I've got 2 packs worth here, which is why we have so many. Two-headed dragon. Did I ever get to this guy's name? This is the saber-tooth serpent. I've got 2 of him. And as you can see, they didn't really do a whole lot of quality control on the paint jobs. As you can see, this one has a secondary paint job of a purple over the blue. And it's a darker blue too. You know, red eyes. He's a little scuffed up, but he's good. And this one here, he's just bright blue. I mean, he is just bright. That's you know, he's got a little scuff in there and whatever, but these guys, I love these guys. These guys are awesome. And these chariots, the chariots are the worst part, to be honest. You know, partly because of that right there. They're so cheaply made that the way they hook up, you've got the chariot here, and I will give them props. You know, they've got a nice little, what were these called? Hibbards? Something like that. That you can put the weapons in. You know, and that's pretty cool. You know, you can put a whole, you know, at least 3 or 4 weapons in there. Boom, done. 4, 5 weapons. Can I get 6 in there? Let's see if I can get 6. 6 weapons in there. Oop, that wasn't on screen, was it? Okay, but I've got 6 weapons in there now. The problem with these is that right there is the connection. Which means that this thing has to plug in on top, and then this would go down over the beast. Now, you might be seeing some problems here already, because you put this guy down here, if you can get it to fit. Please forgive me, this is my first video. I will get all these kinks worked out. But you put that on there, that's fine. But you see the problem? I mean, you walk over something, you get a little bit off, and it just comes apart. I'm not even going to try with it anymore. So these right here, these are the least part of this to me. I like them. They look great in the background, but I won't use them. Imperial also did some other toys. They love to get in on this knockoff stuff. And this guy looks like it's Imperial, but he's much smaller. You can see, let's get him back here. I mean, you can see the size difference. You can see, you know, But you can see there's a lot of similar design. I would have loved to have seen this guy. You know, maybe this guy is this guy's, you know, baby or something. Maybe these two had this. Don't know. I mean, it kind of fits. After this, these came out in 1983. And there was a fourth one. I believe his name was Attack Stallion. It was a posed demon horse. Almost looked like Jersey Devil, I think. Don't have him. I don't really care for him. He's a little bit too posed. After this line came out in 83, right after it, Imperial released another line called Robots, Lasers, and Galaxies. Yeah, they were all over those big cumbersome titles. And it had all of these guys, plus a couple new ones called Battle Bison and I think Mammoth Marauder, which is just bigger elephant-looking guy. I mean, straight out of Lord of the Rings type stuff. And I'm really trying to get a hold of one of those. But it was just kind of neat in that time where, you know, everyone else, you know, like Remco would be putting something out like this, you know. It's a wrestler. It's Larry Zbyszko. But he's designed to look like a He-Man character. And this is what Imperial was giving us. And they were cheaper. I want to say you could probably pick one of these guys up at the time for the same price as a He-Man figure. Not a beast, but a He-Man figure. And that's really my look at them. Again, this is just me trying to take a look at something that I've had around for a while. And in truth, I haven't even had them all this time. They've been in family storage for over 20 years. I just recovered them. I had to clean out my my family storage after my mother passed, and found them all in there. And they're in a showcase in my room now with some of my other old toys. But they're just great. And as many years as I've grown up, and I'm 43 years old now, and as many years as I've had these either with me or stored away, I've always remembered them being one of the best things about my old childhood, toys, and everything about that era. These things are durable. I mean, they are super durable. And they've got great sculpts. They look like what they're supposed to be. The chariots, the weapons, they're great to round things off. If you need an extra mace in the background, whatever. The sword and the helmet. The helmet, I don't know about these. So yeah. I mean, they're okay. They do their job, but I don't know. They're too thin, and they're almost diametrically opposed to these guys who are just so thick. If you remember, there was an LJN figure, King Kong Bundy. Everyone made a joke about him being a murder weapon. These guys aren't far behind. They're not quite as thick. They're hollow, but they're a thick plastic. But man, they got some weight to them, and they got some sharp edges. One of these guys being swung around by a little 5 or 6 year old. Holy Lord, I would not want to be hit with one of those. So, anyway, here's my bow-legged He-Man on his little serpent dude, and just put Larry there. Let's give Larry the helmet. There we go, King Larry Zbyszko. Yay! So that's a look at Dragons, Knights, and Daggers. Please bear with me. I'm going to try to do a few more of these. I've got some other more old toys of mine, and I ramble a lot these days. So here I am. We're about 15 minutes into this, and I think it's been way too long. So wrapping this up, thanks again for watching, and I will try to get something new pretty soon. But no promises, okay? Thank you.